Hello and welcome to Watch This Now. My name is Nick, and today I'm talking about The Lighthouse, the second feature film from director Robert Eggers, whose first film, The Witch, was pretty divisive amongst horror fans. I personally thought that the meticulously detailed direction made it an instant classic for me personally. We've been waiting patiently for the next film from this filmmaker, and all I have to say is thank the heavens for A24 giving these guys the opportunity to do whatever the hell they want. Movies like The Lighthouse just don't happen. I mean, I cannot break it down to one single thing. I saw this a couple weeks ago now. Saw it the weekend before Halloween. I've seen it 3 times now because I've had to just process it. And this is just what I can say that I find really interesting about it the most is that I think The Lighthouse plays differently for different people. It's just kind of its own thing. The first time I saw it, I feel like I was just with a bunch of people that, like me, had to process it. The second time, there were a lot of people, especially throughout the theater as the film went, started laughing more. They certainly thought it was hilarious. I then went with a friend that I dragged. I was like, you've got to see this wild movie. And he hated it. So, I mean, people are having all different kinds of reactions to it. Some think it's a comedy, some think it's a horror, some think it's a drama, some think it's a weird, expressionistic, what the fuckery film. That's what I think. But you have to see it for yourself to form your own opinion. I can only talk about my interpretation and what I got out of it personally. But The Lighthouse is about 2 men played by Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe in the 1890s who are lighthouse keepers. They have a 4-week stay on this tiny isolated island to tend to the light, and what we see is a descent into madness as the men work and drink and become obsessed with the beacon of light that they are tending to. The film is shot in black and white in a 1.191 aspect ratio that makes this feel like something that was recovered from some long-lost film archive from forever ago. It is so interesting and weird. We go from these meandering scenes of Pattinson working like a dog to these hallucinatory visions. It is such a fever dream of a film, and it's incredibly interesting. I can only describe it as a nautical nightmare, but it's very interesting because I've seen several films about characters going crazy, being the horror fan that I am, and I really enjoy the way that this film just decides to show that to you. I've seen a lot of films that have lots of weird editing that they try to use to get you in the disillusioned state of their main character, and oftentimes it just doesn't really work. I really like what is done here, what Eggers does in The Lighthouse, to be able to show you how we get inside the minds of these characters, and it is very disturbing stuff. While many are claiming that this is a masterpiece, I do have some problems, so I will just throw them right out there. Willem Dafoe's character, he's established very early, he's just gross, he's disgusting. He's constantly farting and burping and snorting and just being nasty. He's just a gross old man in this movie, right? And it's played for laughs, and it just feels really cheap, and I've seen that it's working really well. A lot of people find it hilarious, a lot of people really enjoy this aspect of the film, but I personally feel like it really cheapens the material and would have easily done what needs to be done in terms of the story and the characters without this stuff. Speaking of Dafoe, though, he gives such a committed and perfect performance here, truly. I really think, I've always thought he's a great actor, and I think he has been snubbed so many times, but he's been recognized recently in random little things by the Academy over the last few years, so I think it will be a crying shame if he is not in the Best Supporting Actor list. He's got to get nominated. I really think he deserves the win, but with The Irishman this year, I mean, that's a whole Oscar conversation. But Dafoe for Best Supporting Actor. Robert Pattinson is also in the movie. He's fine. I had some problems actually the first couple of times, but on the third one, because it's actually kind of difficult to tell what they're saying sometimes, I think I mostly got it, but I definitely am looking forward to watching this with subtitles so I can really get the full story, I think. I think he's an incredibly talented actor, and he certainly has a good bit to do in this film, but it's mostly being a crazy drunk. I do have to say there is one scene that just doesn't jive with me, and it is a scene, again without spoiling anything, it just is a scene of animal violence, and I'm normally really honestly, again, horror fan, not that sensitive to it, and I know a lot of people are, and that's kind of why I feel the need to say something, because there is a scene that is supposed to be so integral to the plot, but to me, again, it was something where I'm like, I don't really think we need that. I felt like it was unnecessary and overdone. Again, after 3 times, it's still every single time, I'm like, I don't like this. An aspect of the film that I just have to admit makes me love it no matter what is just the things that happen in the nightmarish imagery scenes. It's just, there are things that are seen in this film, which certainly will not make it for some, and for others will make them just say, what? But for me, I was like, oh really, Eggers? Do it again. He just keeps like hitting my soft spot with his films. I'm telling you, this movie, it's just like the sea and the madness and the men, it's just so, and the things. The Lighthouse is just something, it's so much, it's so interesting. It's no single thing, yet it's also, I think, the most singular film of the year. It's so just The Lighthouse. All I can say is go into it knowing what it really is, and be open to reacting as it plays. You might find it funny, or scary, or bonkers. It is something, but just let it be what it is and enjoy it for what it is on your own terms, because I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of different thoughts about The Lighthouse, and I personally think that it's a 4.5 out of 5. It's one of my favorites of the year. It's probably right under Midsummer, to be perfectly honest. I mean, A24, always killing it. Love an A24. I'm just keep doing this stuff. A24. We've had a really good A24 year as well. I have to, for me personally, I don't know about you, but I'm loving it. I'm loving these really talented up-and-coming directors getting the opportunities to do all kinds of bizarre shit. So I am just like, give me more, give me more. What did you guys think of The Lighthouse? I know it's kind of already had its moment, and I'm kind of late now after getting this, but I guess I needed to see it 3 times because it just was so much to process. But I really love this film. I think it's something. So you let me know in the comments below what you thought of The Lighthouse. What is your favorite A24 film? And what are you looking forward to seeing from Eggers next? I know he has a Viking movie coming, so I mean, I'll see whatever. But you let me know. Subscribe to watch this now. Like this video, share it with your friends, and I'll see you in my next video.